This is a DM's guide, and not for the players as it will spoil the game. Avernus is the first layer of the Nine Hells. It's the primary battleground of the Blood War. It's an ancient conflict between devils and demons which has raged for ages. It's now a war-torn battlefield, but Asmodeus built it as an Eden to tempt mortals. There are some strong powers here, trying to keep the Blood War in balance so that nobody wins. If nobody wins, then neither demons or devils will then rage their war across the multiverse, so we keep them fighting. If you've played Descent into Avernus, and I myself have quite recently run it, you'll recall that we get a map of Avernus, although it shifts and changes, so it's just a real world DM help. The locations shift supernaturally in Avernus. The landscape is splattered with waters from the river Styx, which causes feeble mind, and demon ichor, which warps your flesh if you touch it. The demon ichor can also be collected carefully and used as a kind of nitro in the infernal war machines. They are generally driven by war bosses and their armies, who are all in a territorial battle of their own to control their areas. Mortal souls are trapped in coins called soul coins. They're branded with infernal writing and used to power the infernal machines. It's Mad Max in hell. Since the setting is filled with fiends, bargaining and deal-making is rife, and the most precious thing to bargain with is your mortal soul. And there will be many interested parties. Spells have a hellish flavour down here, twisted to fit in with the setting. The heat itself forces a con save every hour, causing one level of exhaustion at a time which will eventually kill you. At the end of every long rest, you have to make a DC 10 wisdom save, or your alignment will change to lawful evil. But worry not, because upon death, an archdevil might tempt you into coming back, providing you perform a small task for it. Please sign here. Also of note, Tiamat, the actual Tiamat, is here in a cave surrounded by colourful Abishai and protected by critical roles Arkan the Cruel and his companion Torrigar Steelfist. The only real place of safety is the Wandering Emporium, a travelling bazaar run by Mahadi, offering a safe place to rest and perhaps get a good meal. The Wizard's 3 suggests not being caught on foot. When the players step through the portal, a demon grinder is passing by, driven by 3 Erinias. This demon grinder is named Venatrix. Nikaia, Kypris and Mykael are the 3 names. Nikaia will offer a deal to travel inside the demon grinder. That deal is to fight a Garistro, while the devils plan to take down 2 Vroks and 5 Quasits. The Garistro needs distracting so that they can get a unicorn out of a cage, Sterling the unicorn, but really they're just after his horn to use to bargain with. The unicorn will plead in a language that the fiends do not speak in order to be saved by the party. This is likely how the players will reach the Red Belvedere. There's a table we can use for travelling encounters, and you must remember to instill in them that the blood war raging in the centre is to be avoided because it is certain death if you go into the middle. As I said, the map is just a suggestion, but if the Red Belvedere is built connected to a tunnel that goes to Tiamat's lair, then it's in the vicinity of the monument to Tiamat in the northwest. Now, an early DM guide I already did from Keys from the Golden Vault book called the Stygian Gambit gives us a map of a casino we could use. This also provides casino patrons a menu and a one-shot. Not that it needs it. The red building comes into view and we see a statue of a roaring dragon and a blue-winged tiefling overhead. Windfall is our smiley host and champion of Tiamat. Make it obvious that Windfall has been buffed through service to her queen. Windfall will pretend not to know where the odd piece is, in favour of embroiling the party in gambling and drinking. Now inside, the players can exchange soul coins for 300 gold pieces each, but more likely they get a talon for every 10 gold they exchange. Talons are cursed, but they work like betting chips. Characters will now have disadvantage on intelligence and wisdom saves, as you are now jealous and selfish. If cured of the curse, it's a DC 18 con save or 1 level of exhaustion. If a player carries more soul coins than its constitution modifier, then it has disadvantage on ability checks, attacks and saves. But soul coins can also give them 1d10 temporary hit points, or they can even speak to the trapped soul within the coin. Now that would be a great time to reintroduce fallen characters, spirits, or even NPCs from previous games, some callbacks. To keep trouble from starting in the casino rooms, 3 pit fiends and 1 pit master patrol the areas. Nissa Ortelion is the pit master of the casino. Pit fiend is AC 19, 300 on average health, flies 60 feet. It's got good constitution save, immunities to fire and poison, it's got a fear aura. If you're within 20 feet of it, you must make a DC 21 wisdom save, and on a fail, you're frightened until the start of your next turn. Advantage against the usual saves, spells and other magic. You can do Wall of Fire, Hold Monster, Fireball. Makes 4 attacks. 1 bite, plus 14 to hit, 22 piercing, succeed on a DC 21 con save or be poisoned. You can't regain hit points and you take 21 average poison damage at the start of every turn. Then a Claw attack, plus 14, 17 slashing average, reach of 10 feet. Then a Mace attack, plus 14, 15 bludgeoning damage, plus 21 fire damage. Then a tail attack, plus 14. These are all reach of 10s. 24 average bludgeoning. These things kick. Sleight of hand cheating has a DC of 30. And bardic inspiration or guidance type cheating is kind of excused. But illusions or failed sleight of hand checks will lose all your talons and have you booted out of the casino. Now apologies plus bribing, 2,500 gold will cause them to look the other way. Cerulean Hall is where you can slot the Stygian Gambit. These table games need 15 talons minimum to bet. You could always play a real hand of cards using dice for talons, or roll 3 dice and get the closest to 21 for example, without going over. There's a table for the NPCs who are betting alongside the players. If the players play for a while, have Nissa challenge them to play a game that has a 50 gold piece minimum to enter. Her modifier is 12 plus as she has a Medallion of Thoughts. She treats all rolls below 10 as 10. Look, Nissa cheats and can be rumbled however you want. This is a good way to have players given access to Dragon's Pride, which is the exclusive club on the lower floor. But we need to cover what's on the first floor first. A white-furred Rakshasa is the pitmaster of the Alabaster racetrack. He uses his disguised self ability to pass himself off as just a lucky gambler, or more likely an unlucky gambler. So you could have him appear as anyone, anywhere, and have him be several people to talk to. The nightmare racing can be done by simply rolling a d6 twice. But when I do races, I like to use the squares on a grid and have the rolls be how many squares you move by controlling players. Whatever money is put on each nightmare is lost if they don't get first or second place. And it's doubled if they get second place and tripled if they get first place. Now before the party's first race, the pitmaster will take the appearance of an elf and tell them of a way to cheat and win loads, and ask the players if they want a part of that cheat. A DC 18 investigation will see through that scam, but this elf says this will get them to the lower elite floor. Uvashar will give them a potion of speed and point to the stables, suggesting Sunshroud be their chosen nightmare. The potion grants haste and doubles the speed. At the stables is a pit fiend who serves as poor security, and the jockeys back there are barbed devils. It's DC 22 stealth to sneak in. DC 25 sleight of hand to pour the potion in. It's DC 20 con save yourself as the poison reacts with the food. You are poisoned for an hour if you fail. Then it's a DC 22 stealth to get back out. Or let's be honest, whatever your players come up with. Alright, the PCs are ushered to a meeting with the pitmaster who reveals himself to be that elf, and also Uvashar. With the secret uncovered, they'll either be allowed into the Dragon's Pride or not, leaving them to come up with alternative plans. Note, if they tell the truth about slipping the potions to the animals, then Uvashar will not respect them and deny them entry anyway. The Scarlet Colosseum is a fight arena. Its pitmaster is Kai, a red Abashai, who loves gory violence. As they enter the arena, they will hear the booming voice of Kai commentating on the current fight. It's free to watch the combat, but any bets are doubled if you win. So the main fight is two teams against each other, basically audience members versus casino members. It costs 15 talons to enter if you're fighting yourself, and it's 3 a team. But the fight is over 3 separate rounds, and you get short rests in between, so they can spend the hit dice. Round 1 is against 3 Balguras. A Balgura has an AC of 15, 68 average health, 40 foot speed, resists cold, fire and lightning, disguise self, as the players maybe, invisibility, entangle, phantasmal force. It gets advantage on all its attacks, but they have advantage against it. So 3 attacks. Bite +7, 11 piercing. Fists +7, 9 bludgeoning. But 1 bite and 2 fist attacks. Round 2 is a single purple worm. Purple worm AC 18. Average health 247, burrows at 30 feet speed and wriggles on land at 50 feet speed. Burrows through solid rock, creating 10 foot diameter tunnel. It makes 2 attacks, a bite and a stinger. The bite is +9, 10 foot reach, 22 piercing damage. You must succeed a DC 19 dex save or you're swallowed. Then you're blinded and restrained, and you take 21 average acid damage every turn. If the worm takes 30 damage, it regurgitates. Tail Stinger +9, 19 average piercing damage, and a DC 19 con save or another 42 poison, if they take poison. Round 3, 2 Iron Golems, but with wings, because they are shaped like pit fiends. Iron Golems then, AC of 20, 210 average health. If the golem takes fire damage, it heals. It's immune to any spell that would alter its form. Advantage on saves against spells and stuff. 2 melee attacks +13, 20 average bludgeoning. A sword +13, 23 average slashing. Poison breath, 15 foot cone, DC 19 con save or 45 average poison. Now you can buy out of the next round with 15 talons if you wish, but winning a round earns each player 100 talons, and at 10 gold a talon, that's nice. If the players win all 3 rounds, then Kai will offer them a special event, but of course you might do that anyway. You might say, oh, you've won 2 out of 3, therefore I'll give you the option to fight me instead. They can win 1,000 talons, so 10,000 gold pieces, and they get a short rest before they fight. It's actually Kai and 2 Horned Devils. Horned Devil AC 18, 170 average health, flies 60 feet. Immune to fire and poison, advantage on saves. Against spells, 3 melee attacks, 2 with its fork, 1 tail, and it can use a hurl flame if it wishes. Fork +10, 15 piercing. Tail +10, 10 piercing. It might have to make a DC 17 con save and lose 3d6 hit points at the start of every turn because of an infernal wound which you have to really pay attention to. Each time the devil hits the wounded target with the attack, it's another. It increases by 3d6. Add them together. It's a DC 12 medicine check to staunch the wound. Hurl Flame is +7, 14 fire damage. Objects catch fire. Kai continues to commentate while being fought. He will concede rather than being knocked out, if that's possible. The Stygian Maze has a pitmaster who's a vampire. He's called Kalen, who uses a sword of life stealing to feed. He will take 3 soul coins as the price of access to Dragon's Pride. Kalen sits at a desk near a window overlooking a fog-filled stone maze. It costs 20 talons to enter. He will give 500 talons for any soul coin you give him in excess. So the PCs choose a leader to use investigation or survival to trek through this foggy maze. We are given 2 tables. Successful rolls lead to treasure chambers, and failures lead to challenges. There are 5 of each, so it'll take at least 5 rolls to finish. So treasures, 1 is 2 potions of greater healing, which is 4d4 plus 4, 2. A pool which grants 2d10 temporary HP, 3. A locked chest with 75 talons in, 4. A locked iron chest with 100 talons and 3 soul coins, 5. the exit door. And then the challenges are 1. 5 chests, which are all mimics. Nice. 2. 3 water elementals. 3. A Bahia guarding a chest with 50 talons and 1 soul coin. 4. A large vase filled with 100 talons but 3 invisible stalkers. 5. An iron golem with 3 soul coins. The Viridian Den's pitmaster is a green Abashai called Rezran. If the players win 1000 talons, he will grant you access to Dragon's Pride. Drake's Auction is a game where the players roll 2d12s to themselves and try to buy one of the 3 rolled in the middle of the table to be added to their hand. I think it costs at least 20 talons a hand. And then if they want to buy the second of 3 d12s in the middle of the table, there's a bidding war again. And then for the third, there's a bidding war. And then whoever has the highest wins. Triple Hydra costs 25 talons per turn. You roll 3d6 and try to get matching numbers. A pair that match wins twice your bet. But 2 ones specifically will get you triple. But ordinarily, it takes all 3 of the same to get triple your bet. Look, we want the players to get into Dragon's Pride, so come on, make it happen. At which point, Windfall will make a dragon tattoo appear on the player's arms. Then an elevator will materialise and descend to the lower floors. Cue elevator music. You can't access the elevator without a tattoo. No siree. If they do attempt it, give them 33 psychic and it fails. Area 1. They enter to jazz music in a bar area. Because it's hell, right? A frost blue ice devil called Oganath chills the drinks as the barman. 2d4 horned devils relax in this lounge. We get a drinks list which acts as a potion of heroism, 10 temporary HP, plus 1d4 to attacks and saves, potion of flying, and an elixir of health that cures diseases and removes blindness, deafened, paralysed and poisoned, or non-magical cocktails for 3 talons each. 2. A jewellery store, which is actually a magical item shop run by a Rakshasa called Chrysocol. He sells an amulet of proof against detection and location, a necklace of fireballs, fiends are immune to fire, ring of shooting stars, which casts light stuff, fairy fire, and a lightning damage sphere. They are all cursed items and can't be removed once worn. After every long rest, they make a DC 10 charisma save, or turn into a lemure, which is what happens when you die in hell. Area 3. 2 Erinyes run this spa, and you can get a massage and a bath or a special service, which means 4d10 plus 4 temporary HP, plus the benefits of a long rest, so full health and extra temp. Area 4. 2 Pit Fiends guard Windfall's office. They both carry keys to this locked office. Any tampering will trigger a DC 20 sleight of hand check, or a poisonous spray causes a DC 20 con save, doing 4d8 poison damage. It can't be disarmed. Inside, it's a fairly mundane, hell-themed office. But there's a bust of a red dragon, and it's projecting an image to conceal a secret door. There's also a tome of leadership and influence to be found. Your charisma increases by 2, and your maximum does too, if you spend 2 solid days studying it. Area 5, a tunnel leads to a cavern with a stalagmite and a stalactite pointing at the rod piece, which is projecting a hologram of a sleeping red dragon. Windfall is here and doesn't welcome interlopers. Tiamat's eyes look upon the scene from all the walls, which can grant 300 hit points back to Windfall. So my full HP'd Windfall will get 442 HP to start with, and at about 100 health left, will get 300 more. Or I might just count down from 742. Well, actually, I count up from 0, as monsters are easier for me to track damage that way. Is that a sentence? If Vecna's name is brought into this, then Tiamat will speak to Windfall, saying that Vecna was her mother's name too. Oh no, that's something else, isn't it? Now, once the rod piece is nabbed, there's an option to follow a tunnel to Tiamat's lair. An ancient red dragon is guarding it. Now, Tiamat is supposed to be imprisoned in Avernus, but what that equates to is that she's banned from entering the material plane and can't return there without helps of the mortals, like Cult of Tiamat. This is why we spoke before about I called it the avatar of Tiamat, but it's a projection of Tiamat because you can't go into the real world. So if they want to try and fight Tiamat, we have the stats. But there'll be hundreds of Abishai surrounding her, watching over her. So basically, it's certain death. You might as well just ask your players, describe in a cinematic way how you die, and this campaign's over. So the Ancient Red Dragon has an AC of 22, 546 average health, speed of 40 feet along the floor and stuff, or flies 80 feet. Immune to fire. 3 legendary resistances. The dragon can use its frightful presence at the start of its attack for free. Then its bite is plus 17, 21 piercing damage plus 14 fire damage. And I started just using these averages. I don't roll dice for damage anymore. Just like 21 and 14, you know the score. Claws, plus 17. 21 piercing damage, 17 slashing damage. Tail attack, plus 17. 19 bludgeoning damage. Frightful Presence. It's a DC 21 wisdom save or you're frightened for a minute and you can re-roll out of it. Fire Breath. 90-foot cone. Forcing DC 24 dex saves or 91 average fire damage. Legendary resistances. Well, we don't bother with detect. We do tail attack or wing attack. Flap 6 wings. DC 25 dex save or 17 bludgeoning and you're knocked prone. And then it flies away up to half its speed or repositions. Now, if you're still with me this far in, maybe you're more devoted than everybody else, consider helping the channel by joining my membership for £1, £3 or £5. Or you can use the thanks button to donate towards my time and my having to buy all these books. But I thank you for the nice comments. I thank you for finding this useful and making it all worthwhile no matter what. Don't hesitate to get in touch and I'll see you later. Called Cryoskull. It takes causing 1 level Drakes or there's a table so we can now an early D objects cast fire.